Even Muslims know something about repentance today. Quran chapter 17, verse 1 through 25. And Muslims should know something about what Matthew chapter 5, verse 44 also says to do today. Quran chapter 17, verse 11. All of the angels had witnessed the creation of the earth, whom all were of male gender at that time. Quran chapter 17, verse 12, and Job chapter 38, verse 4 through 7. Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. And First Peter chapter 1, verse 12 has a sense of something about what also Quran chapter 17, verse 13 through 14 says something very similar, but in its own unique way of putting it into words today. Quran chapter 7, verse 15 sounds just like Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17 through 27. Quran chapter 17, verse 22 through 25 clearly says something just like as how Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through 6, Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 through 4, and John chapter 8, verse 32, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 1 through 2, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 32, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 29, and 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14 still says for all of his peoples wheresoever to best fully become understanding about today as a requirement. John chapter 14, verse 26, meaning as of Thursday, August 6, 2026, and onward, wheresoever that you are within this 2026 kind of blasted, conniving world today. Now, picture this scenario. How is someone pulled over by ICE law enforcement officers saying, I don't have anything illegal on me, and I'm not doing anything wrong, and I also give you permission to search my vehicle? But then, when the officer searches the vehicle, the camera is showing that there are illegal immigrants hidden underneath something on the back of the truck. And so it seems that this very particular driver was caught, found giving the illegal immigrants a ride to wheresoever location. But did this particular driver actually know that there were illegal immigrants that was hiding secretly on the back of their truck or not? 2. One video source says, while talking about the Colorado River situation, risky is for drinking. What? 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 23? I'm going to say this now. If they want for people to live in the areas that rely on the Colorado River today within the U.S., then they are going to have to allow the farmers to use water for growing crops. Otherwise, can't you all see now? This is another reason why some produce within the U.S. has risen in cost over the last few years or decade, because it's possible other areas of U.S. has also been having to ship food into areas where the people that rely on the Colorado River to also have fresh produce to eat as of Wednesday, August 6, 2026. And not to mention, you also now have AI that they are using the water to help stay cool nowadays as well. There's even waterproof robots that they've invested and has now developed 2. These has been some very expensive projects indeed that they've been working on prior to today as of Thursday, August 6, 2026. 3. According to another news source within the U.S., why should Southern California get more of the Colorado River water supply than others around California that also needs water supply from the Colorado River today if Southern California also gets a supply amount of water from the Sacramento River today? And furthermore, why does California need more of the Colorado River water than others if California also has access to the Sacramento River today? Well, it seems that it's because of something very, very similar that is also happening within the Gaza Strip today. The Gaza Strip also is in need of pipelines from Israel in order so that the Gazans can have their own clean, good water source supply over there within Gaza today. And now is Southern California somewhere that has been hosting for anti-Semitism to be happening at today? And it seems that there has been anti-Semitism attacks happening within Southern California, even just most recently, this past month, July 2026. And so now I must ponder Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Is Michigan somewhere that has been hosting for anti-Semitism to be happening at today? And it seems that there has been anti-Semitism amongst people going on within the U.S. state of Michigan today as of Thursday, August 6, 2026. And now, all that I'm going to say is, I don't understand. Because shouldn't you all be being very, very impartial about how much water supply that all of your neighbors equally get from the Colorado River, since it has to spread unto so many places today? New York and California, but especially even more the Southern California area today. James chapter 2, Exodus chapter 20, verse 13 through 17, and Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Quran chapter 17. 4. And you all may have your homeless that need water to drink. And I know certainly that Phoenix, Arizona, homeless needs to make sure that they can have access to have some good cool water to drink, because it can get mighty hot within Arizona today. But I still want to know why Southern California must get more water supply cut from the Colorado River than others that are in need around near California today. I mean, why does it have to become done to where they must get so much more water cut than Southern California's neighbors? And I know that Nevada has always been well known for their very, very particular wicked ways and things. Still to this very day of some suspicious things that I will digress from mentioning details about Nevada for now, that people has been and still are legally permitted to do certain acts, even as a permitted, allowed kind of business for a very long time now within the U.S. state of Nevada. But also Arizona seems to has places where people go and gamble at today, it seems, which has been causing some people there within Arizona to now has become having gambling problems today, according to a news source posted on July 28, 2026 at 5:50 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please be impartial, all you peoples, about the sharing of the Colorado River water henceforth, especially if you all say that you love and care for each other today, okay? James chapter 2, Exodus chapter 20, verse 13 through 17, and Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. 5. I don't know why people are saying that this all is President Trump's fault for this cyclosporiasis outbreak today, but I will ask this now. Did Taylor Farms delay doing a recall about their iceberg lettuce or not? Anyway, because of all of this today, source says cooking your produce, heating it up, until it's piping hot is a good way to stay safe. So this means no traditional salads. If you do want to eat your vegetables this month of August 2026 through it all. And regardless of what name that they wants to call this stuff, heat up your food until it's piping hot, everyone, including your vegetables and fruits as well, because I ain't playing around with whatever they want to call it and approve for it to be called within the US today or any given day for that matter, okay? 6. Another source says that to help keep the watery diarrhea side effect from becoming infected with cyclosporiasis is not like your normal insect parasite. The watery diarrhea side effect from cyclosporiasis can last for longer than just 2 to 3 days or even up to 1 month. This source had continued on to say, if you or someone you know is experiencing watery diarrhea for longer than 2 to 3 days, then must go to certified, registered, qualified, authentic, free clinic, for instance, and get checked out. And the incubation for this kind of parasite eggs within the human body can take up to 2 to 14 days before you begin to notice signs within your body about what you've eaten. And there are people today who may not even be able to remember all that they've eaten 3 to 5 days ago alone. And this particular source from 3 weeks ago prior to Thursday, August 6, 2026, goes on to say that at that time, they did not know the source brand company packaging that could be causing this cyclosporiasis outbreak that is currently happening today in places. And they even had mentioned about strawberries, raspberry, basil. That's basically some of everything in my mind to watch out for that they were just talking about just only 3 weeks ago prior to Thursday, August 6, 2026. So in my mind, yes, cook everything, heat it up until it's piping hot, including the seasonings and spices, because they had mentioned about basil as well. I ain't got time. I'm going to heat it all up. And this particular video source also says that cyclosporiasis thrives during the high humidity and heat temperatures, the spring and summer within the US. And this particular source is saying that the CDC may have said a certain number, but we know that it may be more than the number of people cases that they had said within Michigan alone that had become infected of cyclosporiasis. And they say things that you can do is to simply wash your produce with running water. There seems to be something about running water. not just sitting them in water to soak. And to wash your hands, have good hygiene practices, even when it comes to eating and preparing your food to eat. But this particular source today was also saying, cook your vegetables, heat them up to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, that's hot. And that sounds just about right for me to must say again here. Heat your food up until it's piping hot, all you peoples, wheresoever that you are within this 2026 kind of blasted, conniving world today. And this will be another benefit for those that would do so. If you make your own food at home and leave the restaurants alone, at least during the spring and summertime, then you won't have to worry about a thing about if your produce on your sandwiches that many people love to buy from the restaurants today is being cleaned properly for you or not. Okay? Again, this is all for those that would see to do so for their own individual safety wheresoever. Henceforth, Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 7. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 through 7. Number 7. And according to another source, it seems that U.S. Democrats are attempting to sue President Trump once again because of new tariffs. Also, there was a wildfire near Athens, Greece, where they appears to have found some people that they have suspicions of arson, the criminal act of intentionally and maliciously setting fire to or destroying property such as buildings, vehicles, or forests. Therefore, causing the reasons why even within the capital city of Greece, Athens, people today also most likely will need water to put out wildfires, including within places like France, the Netherlands, and all around throughout Europe. And Europe has been experiencing extreme hot and dry heat temperatures this year, 2026 as well. And source also says that all the Wales and more than half of England are now officially in drought. So this means that even the UK has also been experiencing water supply issues today as well. And in the midst of this all, people are still wanting to enjoy themselves by going to see new movies in theaters today. But according to source, there are people who have concerns about them paying $100,000 to gain access to President Trump's Truth Social posts before everyone else gets to see his posts publicly today. I mean, it seems that those very much well paying people are very, very much concerned now, all of a sudden, about where is all of the money going to be going towards from their VIP status, so to say, for President Trump's posts on Truth Social today. Well, there are a lot of things that has been going on lately, including deaths. But another thing that has been going on in the midst of this all today is a divide, or something is going on amongst U.S. Democrats in Michigan today for whatever the purpose it's going on for. Amongst Democrats that has U.S. Democrats now at odds with each other within Michigan today. Well, the politics really are now just a bunch of mess right now within the U.S., ain't they, folks? Because more and more people are now starting to notice things today. That's why. And these conflicts with shooting missiles and everything isn't doing very much to help better the climate amongst everyone within this whole entire blasted conniving 2026 kind of world today to have each their own good water source supply as of Thursday, August 6th, 2026 and onward. Number 8. Many of the sources keeps saying death is not necessarily a main outcome risk from getting cyclosporiasis here within the US, which now makes me think about if there are any other countries, nations that cyclosporiasis is a main outcome risk of death today. Is it or not? Quote from source. Cyclosporiasis is not a main outcome risk of death anymore today, while the parasite Cyclospora catanensis is endemic, mainly found or native in tropical or subtropical developing nations such as Peru, Mexico, and parts of Southeast Asia. It routinely causes self-limiting or treatable gastrointestinal illness rather than fatal outcomes. Even during the major 2026 U.S. outbreak linked to imported lettuce, deaths remain exceptionally rare and confined to individuals with severe underlying medical fragilities, those that are in the state or quality of being easily broken, damaged, harmed, or weak. Plus, I do know that smoking, vaping, and drinking alcoholic beverages has a way of becoming to weaken a person's immune system over time as well. However, the speed depends on how often the person chooses to smoke, vape, or drink any alcoholic beverages or beverage as of Thursday, August 6th, 2026 and onward. And now, this all suddenly makes me to must think about ulcerative colitis once again. Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, which is also another health situation that people shouldn't be smoking, vaping, nor drinking any alcoholic beverages, especially must refuse doing so heavily and regularly, because the more that you smoke, vape, or drink any alcoholic beverages also could put you more at risk of getting ulcerative colitis. And this little bit about ulcerative colitis is more explained at the link in the description box beneath this video on YouTube, just for you to know. And now, more about cyclosporiasis today. They all keep saying that in the US, cyclosporiasis is not life-threatening. But in my mind, I don't want to be getting any unnecessary diarrhea either. So this is all still something big in my mind for me today. I'm not playing around with diarrhea because I also know that if you have diarrhea for too long, then diarrhea can also cause dehydration. And I don't, and no, and don't they always be saying stay hydrated today? So you see here, look here. Oh, this is still a big thing in my mind for the day. Philippians chapter 4 verse 8. And according to another particular source, why are they not anymore caring to track much for people to know about cyclosporiasis within places today? I don't know about you all, but I like to take my time when I have to go and use the bathroom, okay? You feel me? Having the ones will have you running somewhere. And I must think about for if I were to go somewhere and someone else is in the bathroom and there's no more stalls left and I got the ones and somebody in the bathroom. Yeah. I ain't got time to be having any unnecessary diarrhea, okay? And one particular source is out there saying, amongst others, to put bleach on your vegetables. But do research about it first. Don't just take my word for it.
What the hell? I ain't putting anybody bleach on my food. What the hell? With the way that people's minds are today in places?
I'd rather prefer to say 1 hot water to rinse your vegetables, fruits, and fresh herbs off very, very carefully. And for some things, just go on ahead and cook it to heat it all up until it's good old-fashioned piping hot, okay? And for those who may be thinking to use any soaps, dishwashing liquids to clean your vegetables, fruits, and fresh herbs off today in some places today, I'd rather prefer for us all to still just 1 hot water and use your hand as a washcloth, because you can also feel the difference if you've rinsed it off really well or not. But this is all only if you pay attention carefully while doing so. Colossians chapter 4 verse 2. And it often might even feel slippery if something is still on there. So just keep rinsing until you don't feel whatever it feels like to you anymore, okay? Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 through 7. And also note this: eating a bowl of plain white rice seasoned with your preference of salt for taste can help stiffen your bowels back to how it should be. And so if this would work for you, then just you simply eating a bowl of plain white rice can also be another good thing for you to do if you have diarrhea. And after eating 1 to 3 meals of plain white rice seasoned with salt to taste, if then ought to surely begin to stiffen your bowels back to normal. And if it doesn't do so, then you may have to go and get a checkup done with only a well-registered, qualified, verified, certified, authentic doctor nurse, okay? Ephesians chapter 5 verse 20. And it seems that one way that might cause for cyclosporiasis to become an issue of death for people within the U.S. today is if they become dehydrated from having diarrhea as of Thursday, August 6, 2026 and onward. So stay hydrated, everyone, especially if you were to become having diarrhea wheresoever henceforth. Colossians chapter 4 verse 2. Later.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.